Hey, everybody. What's up, Twitch? What's up, twitch.com/the Trident Network, or what's up to podcast listeners who are listening to this in the future, not joining us live. This is I Love Improv with Trent Dozier. I am the titular Trent Dozier. Happy to be back. Thank you, everybody who is joining us live now for joining us live. And thank you, everybody in the future for joining us in the future. Hope everybody had a great break. Obviously, we haven't done a show since mid-December. I think it's been like 6 or 8 weeks, something like that. But here we are. We're back. We love improv more than ever. We're happy to be doing it. We have a incredible guest that will be joining us in a matter of moments. But first, before we get into it, we got to introduce the one, the only, the technical support of I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, Val Agnew.
Hello, Trent. I'm so happy that we're back.
Oh, me too, Val. It's been too long.
It has. How do you feel being able to hear your theme song for the first time?
I was going to say, longtime listeners will know that typically I dance to start the show, and then I say, I always ask Val if I can stop dancing because I can't hear the music. But while we were on break, Val didn't even give this to her as an assignment. She just took it upon herself. I can now hear the music that everybody else hears. So it was great. It was incredible. What a moment. Did you think me being able to hear the music enhanced my dancing or took away from the magic?
I think that when you couldn't hear it, you were more freewheeling, but when you could hear it, you were more on the beat. So there were pluses and minuses. Yeah,
I certainly tried to sync my body to the sounds. I don't know how that came across. If you're watching us live right now here on twitch.tv/the Trident Network, show Val some love in the chat. Maybe leave some comments about how you think my dancing was in the chat. And also, we have some big Trident news chat related. I Love Improv with Trent Dozier is, of course, a part of the Trident Network, a three-pronged provider of entertainment. If you are in the chat, we have new emotes that you can use, new Trident specific emotes with our Trident mascot, the party dolphin. Is that correct, Val?
Oh, that is so correct.
Why don't you throw some in the chat right now? Let the people see what they're missing.
They're all in there.
Great. If you would like to become a subscriber to the Trident Twitch channel, there are more shows than just my show that stream on here. We would love if you would hit that purple subscribe button somewhere down here in this general region.
Yes.
Or also, is this still a thing, Val? If you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can get one free subscription to a Twitch stream, and so why not make it the Trident Network?
That's right. Every month you can support us at no cost to yourself.
Perfect. Okay. Are we ready to get going, Val?
I mean, I am. Oh, wait. One more thing.
Please.
Our party. Got to invite everyone to our party.
Sure. Do it now. I was going to save it, but we can do it now.
Okay. No, you can save it.
I'll save it, but I'll also do it now. March 4th. Put the date in your calendar now. Is the 1 year anniversary of the formation and beginning of the Trident Network. So March 4th will be the Trident Network 1 year birthday party. Yay!
Yay!
There's going to be a really fun stream going on here on this channel. But we'll talk more about it at the end. But take some time to mark your calendars for that right now. But first, we got to do a little bit of improv. And in order to do improv, we got to bring on my guest for this week, someone who I love as a person, love as an improviser. They are a great improviser. They are also a great teacher. And I think most importantly, they are someone who, like me, likes to talk about improv. So I'm very excited to have them on to be able to do some improv and to talk about some improv. It is Meredith Weir. Hey, Meredith.
Whoa. How's it going?
It's going great. If you're in the chat, say what's up to Meredith. And if you're in the chat and related to Meredith, tell her how much you love her. Huh? How about that? And if you're in the chat and related to Meredith but can't figure out how to use the chat, text her later and tell her how much you love her. How's that all? Does that all sound fair to you, Meredith?
Yeah, I think that hits all the boxes that you could have hit.
I was kind of hoping Meredith wouldn't notice this in our pre-production meeting, but she did, because it's recognizable. As you can probably see now, I am wearing my Gwynedd Mercy University Athletics polo. My partner and the creator of the I Love Improv with Trent Dozier theme song, Nia D'Amelio, her mother is the current president of Gwynedd Mercy University, which is why I have a shirt. However, the reason I wore it today is because an alumnus is joining us today. It's Meredith Weir. It's Meredith.
It's so true. I think it's so important to note how small of a school Gwynedd is, and that we found each other.
It is. It's
through
crazy.
That connection.
Yeah. And you found each other in Chicago, not in Pennsylvania and anywhere.
Yeah, because I happen to be wearing some of my Gwynedd swag around.
Incredible. And I'm wearing some Gwynedd swag now, and that'll lead me to a great improv scene with you right now. But first, before we do improv...
That's good, because I wasn't ready.
Yeah, the look on your face said, no, I'm not ready.
I said, we met and you said, we'll get a suggestion, and you didn't do that.
Yes, we do need a suggestion. Here at I Love Improv, we like our suggestions to be robust and informative. So, for example, instead of giving us the suggestion of cork, we would like something more specific, like Trent and Meredith own a winery together, but they're also in the midst of a divorce, and also Meredith has a club foot, stuff like that. Something more specific. The more specific, the better. Now, if you have never seen me and or Meredith play, maybe what I'm about to do right now will help inform the type of suggestion you want to give, perhaps, because right now, Meredith, you're in the chair where you have to sit and receive compliments. Are you ready?
I think so. Yeah, let's go.
Yes. Okay. This is the portion of the show where I tell my guests what I love about them as an improviser. And when it comes to Meredith, there's certainly quite a bit to love. As I said, off stage, she is someone whose improv mind I love to engage with, because Meredith is the type of person who, not just improv, I think you're thoughtful in all areas, but this is an improv podcast, so I'll focus on improv. You are very thoughtful about improv, and not only the moves you make, but the moves that other people are doing. And you just have a great, you're like a point guard in basketball. You have great vision. You can see what needs to happen in a show, whether that needs to come from you or someone else. I just think your fundamentals are great. On top of that, as an improviser, I love watching you do improv, because I don't know that you always tap into this, which makes it feel even more special when you do. But I feel like most of the time you're very low key, even keeled. I feel like a lot of Meredith characters are very close to Meredith in real life. But when you crank it up, and I've seen you crank it up to 100 a couple times, it's just like, I feel like you are so genuinely funny, and in a way that not a lot of Chicago improvisers are. You're way more like dry and biting and hard hitting in your comedy. And I love that, because I feel like that's an area that I specifically lack in. And also, but also it's great to watch you just like have these extremely grounded scenes. You are the type of improviser that could easily improvise with anybody. And that is something that I always try to achieve or strive for. And I think it's something that you do with such ease, that anytime I get to watch you improvise, or on the rare occasion like today when I do get to improvise with you, I look forward to it all day, and then I cherish it as it happens, and I get very sad when it ends. So those are my compliments towards you, Meredith. Do you agree or disagree?
You said it would be uncomfortable and awkward, and it was, but I very wholeheartedly appreciate all of that. That is so kind and generous of you to say. I do like to keep my dialing up to 100 at a minimum to make it special.
Yeah. And like I said, it honestly is. It's incredible anytime it happens, and I feel like it's rare, and when it happens, it's great. Not that grounded close to self Meredith is bad, because as I said, I don't think that's the case. I enjoy that a lot, but I feel like you lay a trap where you watch Meredith do improv for 6 months, and then all of a sudden, month 7, she's going crazy on stage, and you're just like, oh yeah, delicious. Okay, well that's what's great about Meredith. So now it's time to get those thick, verbose suggestions from our friends in the chat. So if you're in the chat right now, if you haven't done so already, if you want to throw a suggestion into the chat for the scene that you would like to see Meredith and I do, that would be great. We would love that. Also, there's about a 20 or so second delay between what I am saying to you in the chat, what you're hearing. So we'll just...
We already have so many suggestions.
Oh, perfect.
And I want to merge them somehow. Oh no. Okay. First of all, we had a first-time chatter give a couple suggestions. 04 Minivan, thank you very much.
04 Minivan, thank you.
Suggestions. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna merge as many of these as I possibly can.
Val, I cannot see the chat, so you do whatever you want to do.
Okay.
I can see the chat. I brought it up. I hope I'm not cheating, but I'm very excited.
You're not cheating. Okay. Trent and Meredith are lost in space. One of them is secretly an alien. And you are also, Meredith is also Trent's boss on the spaceship.
Okay.
But you're also friends. Okay.
But we're also friends. Okay.
This was given. This was detail. Okay. And have some fun. Enjoy.
Great. Thanks, Val. Thank you, everybody, for your suggestions.
Did you secure the airlines?
Airlines are now secure. Everything's secure now. Everything's secure. Everything's locked down. We shouldn't lose anybody else.
Okay. All you have to say is affirmative. You don't have to do that where you...
Right. Affirmative.
When I ask, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say more. I just did want to let you know we won't be losing any more crew members now. Affirmative.
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone and they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
So to us, they're dead. Let's not even bring them up again.
Affirmative.
If we find our way back home, then maybe, yes.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to retract my question because I feel like you were about to answer it. Affirmative.
When we get home, maybe we'll hold some type of ceremony for all that have lost. But right now, we got to take care of 1 and 2. Okay?
That's us.
Yeah. Is that why you're raising your hand, or do you have a question?
I just wanted to confirm that you did answer my question that I never asked. Affirmative. Thank you, boss.
Great. Okay. Now, if everything's secure and we're drifting at the rate we're supposed to be drifting at, we can just chill.
Okay. Everything's secure, but I didn't check our drift rate. Should I check that?
I checked that. We're good.
Oh, okay. Great. Affirmative then.
And now, at ease. We can be friends again.
Great. I feel like our work-life balance is a little off because we're equals as life, but in work, we're not. Does that make sense?
I know. And we keep putting ourselves in super stressful situations where I have to be bossy,
Mm-hmm.
And as a person,
mm-hmm.
It's hard for women people to be bosses without seeming bitchy. That's like a thing.
That's not what I'm not saying that.
I know I'm saying that.
Okay.
I just want to know that, just want you to know that I know that that's a stereotype that humans have, and I am aware that they exist. And I want to just make sure that I don't, cross any lines that I'm not supposed to.
Okay. Well, I do think maybe, you know what? I'm gonna propose another retraction to myself and not throw out the suggestion I wanted to suggest.
You see what that was? I just left you space to give your suggestion.
But I'm retracting my suggestion. I don't want to.
Okay, well, as a boss, give me your suggestion.
Okay, I affirmative. I will. I was going to suggest that if you, because you're the boss, made me also an equal boss, then our work life levels would be even, and so it would be an even playing field across the board, both in our off the clock relationship and our on the clock relationship. However, I would like to retract that suggestion and never suggest it in the first place, because as you said, it's harder for women, humans, to be the boss. So I wouldn't want to take that from you, because we are friends, and I don't want you to think that I am just using you to try to climb to the top of NASA, because I'm not. I only signed up to be an astronaut because you were signing up to be an astronaut, and I just kind of lucked out that we both like space and stuff.
Marcus?
Yes.
I think what you just proved is that you have grown.
Okay.
So I'm really glad that I gave you this. I'm really glad that I gave you the space to talk, because it seemed like you already had that before you talked, and you really have just realized the challenges that women face versus the zero challenges that you face.
Yes, I've faced zero challenges.
Yeah.
I had to pass less tests than you did to become an astronaut.
Yeah, that is bullshit, by the way.
It is. And when we figure this out, and when we get back, I'm going to go talk to the boss of NASA, both of our bosses, and I'm going to say, this wasn't right. Courtney is smarter than me, yet I only had to take half of the tests that Courtney had to take, yet somehow I didn't get the boss position, which I'm not mad about. Clearly, I don't deserve the responsibility, nor do I want the responsibility. The number of our compatriots that I have killed over the last 24 hours on accident, 100% of them have been accidents, but 100% of them have been my fault. So I can recognize that. But, this isn't, I didn't want any of this. I just wanted to hang out with my best friend in space.
That's all I wanted. I can't believe we're in this freaking mess.
It's okay. We've got everything secure. Everything's locked down. We're drifting on the proper pace now. And I think we should be good.
We're not Matt Damon. We're not just going to be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think in theory, sure. But if anybody was going to Matt Damon the situation, it would be me. Because me and Matt Damon have the most similarities. Maybe not like physically body type wise necessarily. Like he's definitely like taller and more handsome, but base levels, we're both white guys and shit just works out for us. So
yeah.
So
and
maybe
you're a botanist.
Yeah, and I'm a botanist. And that's kind of the one that would be more of the link between me and Matt Damon's character in the movie Space. What was it?
The Martian.
The Martian. Yeah, the Martian. Dang. I wonder if we'll see any Martians out here. That'd be crazy.
There weren't any. There weren't any Martians in that movie, which to me makes it fully false.
Well, I think the implication was that he was the Martian because he was living on Mars.
Okay, that's a good point. that I'd never thought of.
Well, I mean, you call people who live on Earth Earthlings, I guess, or human beings, I guess. But what are people from Venus? Venetians?
I think that's an Italian.
What the?
Hey, let me ask you this, Marcus. For real, we got this beautiful view. Right?
Yeah.
Wow, come on. Do you think there's any other life out there?
Do I think there's life out there? I'm an optimist.
And what would you do if you met a person that was not a person, but alive? Because I think person is a name reserved for like Homo sapiens,
Okay.
as opposed to any type of extraterrestrial, if you will.
I feel like I interact with dogs pretty positively, so I like to think meeting an extraterrestrial, unless they were, coming for me negatively, then I would react negatively. But if they came at me like a dog comes at me, happy and wanting to play, I would meet that with happiness and playfulness.
Okay. And how would you feel if one of them purposefully kidnapped you and derailed a NASA mission so that they could take their best friend back to their home planet? Would you be mad?
I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it does sound like a fun adventure. I do only have Barry watching my rabbit for 2 weeks, so that would be a little bugaboo in the situation. But otherwise, this is a really fun hypothetical conversation that we're having, Courtney, but I did want to bring your attention to the screens. I was noticing that we appear to be on a trajectory for Pluto and not back on a drifting trajectory towards Earth. And I'm not really, I think maybe we should, I'm of course just a botanist, so I don't know, but I think maybe you need to look at the drifting coordinates again.
I brought Bugaboo because I know how important he is to you. And I just want you to know. Here, you can take him.
Please, Bugaboo, my bunny.
And I just want
monster who loves carrots, Bugaboo. Who loves celery, Bugaboo. Who loves lettuce, Bugaboo. Who loves all the vegetables? It's you, Bugaboo, Bugaboo, Bugaboo. Rabbit kisses, rabbit kisses. Rabbit kisses, rabbit kisses. Okay, I'll put you. Okay. I wonder if Barry's been texting me about Bugaboo not being at my apartment.
Marcus, sorry. I feel like you're missing the big thing I'm trying to tell you.
What's going on?
I feel like you're really struggling to connect the dots here.
You just got to lay it. Here's the thing about me and all botanists. I'll make a generalization here. All botanists need the dots fully connected for them. We can't just jump from A to D. You got to go A to B to B to C to C to D. It's who we are.
Okay, in brief, I was sent to the Terran planet of Earth to evaluate people and determine who I think would be a good fit to help repopulate our planet, Flusarion, which you guys call Pluto for some reason. I don't know why you wouldn't just use its full name. It's like somebody already knew it was a name, and then you just made it a shorter version of a name that's not the name. And I don't know who got that. It's just a pet peeve of mine that happened. But
sounds like that was a decision made by a white American male.
Probably. Anyway, I was supposed to find somebody who was pure of heart. And the moment I saw you interacting with Bugaboo and Rat-a-tat before Bugaboo, I just knew that I had to convince you to get into the NASA program. I was the one behind you only having to take half the test because I knew if you had to go through zero gravity training, you wouldn't have made it at all based on our exit of Earth's atmosphere. I'm
starting to think if I had some zero gravity training, maybe some of our compatriots would still be alive, but I don't know. Maybe not.
I should also let you know that those compatriots were planned to die on this mission, but I sought them out from Argentina and knew that they were ex-Nazi men, so they're okay to be dead.
I did think it was curious why all of
they were
the
all
people
like 90.
were like 95 years old.
Yeah, I know. But I just wanted to make sure that it was, a wholesome transition of that I wouldn't
Okay.
feel guilty about going back to my planet as a murderer because we're not murder people. We're
Okay,
not even people.
let me see if I have all this straight. You, Courtney, my best friend for the last 15 years, have kidnapped me and my rabbit Bugaboo to go on a NASA space mission to the planet Plusarion, known as Pluto on Earth, because you need to repopulate Plusarion.
Yes.
So there is something between us then. I knew
mean,
it. I know. I told you, Bugaboo. I knew she liked me. Oh.
It's just that before, because I was in a leadership position, it didn't make sense.
We still can't be together because you're my boss then.
Oh no, I'm not actually a member of NASA at all. I've been borrowing this person's body the whole time. I actually look like this.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to yell as a reaction.
But you did yell.
It was just my natural reaction. You kind of look like if Pennywise the clown was a turtle. But I'm not saying that is a bad thing.
I'm gonna have to show my true self to you at some point.
You did. I feel like you have over the last 15 years, right? At least your true inside self.
Yeah, I'm the same person on the inside.
So I guess what I'm asking is, despite our work relationship, is there room for our personal relationship to evolve, specifically sexually?
I think so, but I'm gonna have to teach you some of this anatomy.
Okay, so where on your body are the sex holes?
Where the human ears are.
So you have 2 sex holes like a human.
No, we have 6 sex holes.
Oh my god. Oh my god. God? Is God even real? Does God exist if other life forms exist?
We don't believe in like religious anything on our planet, but we do have spiritual guides.
My mom made me go to church every day. My whole
every
life.
day?
Every day.
That's a lot of church.
Yeah.
You can believe in whatever you want to believe in. On Plutarius, we don't have wars over religion like you guys do on Earth.
I can't think of a single event that would cause a whole planet to need to repopulate outside of a war because of religion.
Well, basically what's happening is these tiny little microorganisms are taking light from the sun, which has caused our southern hemisphere to completely die from a vegetation standpoint, and it's no longer suitable. We have figured out how a way to reverse engineer the microorganisms and
this is
stuff.
exactly like The Martian, but if Matt Damon got to have sex with aliens during The Martian. You're bringing me, a botanist, an expert in vegetation, to your planet. Plus, I get to have sex with the aliens?
All of the aliens, because we're not worried about any type of like genetic anything. So your whole thought on monogamy might have to change.
Well, because of my strict religious background, I am a strict believer in monogamy.
Okay. Is there any way I could change your mind? I mean, to be fair, we have 7 years until we get there.
7 years?
Yeah, well, NASA's ships aren't as up to speed as I thought they'd be.
Did you bring any rabbit food for Bugaboo?
Well, yes, because it eats greens and carrots, and you're growing them in the South Bay, right?
That's correct. You passed my test. Okay. That's all it took. I'll relent on my monogamy stance.
Great. And you should know all of the other women, if you will. They're not really women. They're just, we don't really have genders. So
that's
all
fine.
the other
gender is a construct anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'll stick it wherever.
But everyone is so nice. I think it's just like a bunch of, people that look like me and are me running around.
To me, that sounds like the perfect planet.
You know how to say all the right things, just the right time.
Wait, that's the wrong way. Okay, that's the scene. If you are listening to this on a podcast in the future, what was happening was Meredith and I had started engaging sexually. And if you're watching this live on Twitch right now, sorry you had to see that.
Oh my God.
Boy, that was great.
So fun.
That was a great scene, Meredith. I had a blast playing with you, which I knew I would. One of the reasons I love getting such a hearty suggestion at the beginning is so that we don't have to, the things we got where we were in space, one of us is an alien and we're friends, and like immediately you started dropping those alien hints. So I was like, great, taken care of. I don't need to be the alien. Meredith is the alien. And I feel like because we knew that immediately, we were able to get into it faster and kind of dig into delve into the relationship that we actually had a lot faster and a lot sooner than we otherwise would. So very cool.
Yeah.
Meredith, a thumbs up, I see.
I didn't do that on purpose. I don't know how that happened. Because I'm on an iPad. I didn't touch it. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, I think one of the reasons why I love performing with students when I get the chance, which is is because they are always so nervous to make that decision. Yeah. And I never want to make that decision if I'm playing with somebody, I like doing the whole bringing one brick at a time, but I'm playing with somebody more experienced. But when you play with students or people who are just new to improv, they're too nervous, or I don't know what it is. They're just not getting enough information out that you can often be like, hey, listen, son, you had bad grades and I'm going to ground you. And that's our scene.
Yes.
It works that muscle really well. And I think especially in this format, having all that context up front is makes everything so much easier.
Yeah, I totally agree. I also really very, very strongly agree with you that I also love to play with less experienced improvisers because of that exact thing where I feel like inexperienced improvisers often have this crazy kind of kinetic energy that they're just throwing stuff at the wall, trying to get laughs all the time. And it's just so much easier to kind of ride their waves and just use mine or yours or Val's experience to just kind of be like, okay, let's calm down here and let's calm down here. And it's just it's kind of the more off the wall they are, the almost easier it is for us as the experienced players to not only guide them through the scene, but also get laughs for just reacting to the wildness that's going on.
You're channeling.
Yeah,
it.
Channeling it.
Yeah. One of the first things when I teach like level 2 or level 3 students is like
Mm-hmm.
that thought of avoiding throwing so much stuff at the wall. I use this analogy that's like,
Yeah.
pretend you're on an apple orchard, right? Like you want to take every apple off one tree, and that's what a scene should be, as opposed to like, oh, this might be funny, and like just going down a row of trees and picking an apple off everyone. And I think that's like one way to like harness energy is to just keep them contained in like one idea. I hate that I'm talking about them like they're another species. They're just me 5 years ago.
Yeah. Seriously though, I mean, it is. I mean, I remember when I was an inexperienced improviser and just like throwing shit at the wall, and something funny hit. So I'd be like, well, I guess I better name everybody Jonald in the scene, because that was really funny when I named the one guy Jonald. And then you just kind of become one note, and every player has to go through growing pains as an improviser, and then you either become us where you keep doing it, or you stop after your level 1 class.
Yeah.
That also makes me think of like Herald openings, where people would be like, here's an idea. Oh, okay, we like this 5th idea. Let's chase that in the opening, even though we've already killed a minute of our opening or whatever, instead of like everybody just accepting, like, we've already picked an apple off of this tree. Why don't we just finish off this tree? Yeah. So I really like that analogy.
It's so funny because you mentioned earlier that like I have this like dry wit, or like I think I like my initial like I went to UCB and did all their programs and all their courses and stuff like that early on. In my like East Coast improv training, and I think they do that. They do the pattern game opening for like your Lloyd teams and for your like Herald shows as you're learning it through their levels. And it's like I think of everything like every tool is important to have in improv. So it's like,
yes,
it's good to have the ability to talk about, name 100 things and find the good thing that's there and run with it. But I don't think people like utilize that skill set right when it comes to like a Herald opening. It's like, we're just trying to out funny each other for a while so that we can have, as opposed to that just being an exercise to train your brain into learning how to like figure out what's fun and follow it. Because I think a scene is like that. At any point in a scene, you can pick an avenue to go down, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, at the start of that scene with us, I was like, oh, this is pretty negative with me being bossy. And I wanted that not to be the case, because it's just more fun to be friendly. And so just being like, oh no, I'm just going to pick this idea and make us be good friends, and our work relationship is aside. And I don't know, I find that helpful.
No, I agree.
To be able to just like move to what's important in any given time.
Yeah.
I remember.
You want?
Sorry,
go ahead, Val.
No, go ahead.
No, go, Val.
I was just gonna say that I remember early on, like, I think that what you were talking about, Meredith, at least from my experience, is like when you're trying to find the funny and follow the funny early on, you're using the wrong markers for what is funny and fun. Like, you're basing it on what the audience is reacting to, like the sort of external factors, rather than like what's tickling you and what's tickling your teammates, right? And your scene partners. And like, I think with time you realize like the audience is less important. Like, they will enjoy themselves as long as you're enjoying yourself. And like, cause I remember so vividly, like early on doing improv scenes where I'd like shift gears like every 5 seconds because I wasn't getting like an instant reaction to what I was doing. And I was like, oh no, gotta do something else. And like trusting that the choice that you're making is okay. And even if it's weird at first, you'll figure it out with the people that you're on stage with. I think just comes with like time and experience, because you aren't scared of like what might come after a while.
Yeah, I feel like a good exercise would be to do like a Herald opening where you're doing all this like nonsense almost. And then as a coach, be like, okay, go, that's your show, follow that.
Yeah.
And then, okay, go follow that. Just to show that like, it doesn't matter what you pick. It all has the same amount of legs if you Yeah, because I think you're right. It becomes the audience just starts laughing when people start out funnying each other, but that doesn't give the show any legs. And I also personally hate that because I don't work funny in that way. Like if somebody's like Abraham Lincoln and it gets a huge laugh, I'm like, okay, who's a funnier president than Abraham Lincoln? It's like that's not how it works.
Gerald Ford.
No, it's Taft. Taft is the only
Taft.
right
Yeah,
answer.
it's Truman. It's got to be Truman.
That's also, I mean, that Val, what you said reminds me of like what we have talked about previously with you saying that Zoom improv has made you a better improviser because now you're not as worried about the audience. And I think that's totally true, that as long as I think I've mentioned this before, like I would rather watch people who are clearly having fun with each other and like, you know, doing okay, but they're having fun. So it's more enjoyable for me than, you know, watching two people who think they're great, but are just kind of like having a crappy scene and like not really listening to each other or being super responsive to the audience, stuff like that. Obviously you want to cater to the audience to a certain extent because you want to, I feel like the point of the improv show is for them to have a good time and for you to have a good time. It's not for them to have a good time or for you to have a good time. You want both parties on stage and off to have an equally good time.
And I think one follows the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's contagious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite shows to see at IO was always the I mean, it's not improv, but it was the showcase shows, because those, like the audiences for those shows were just automatically built in, ready to rock and be audience members. And they're like, yeah, I know like 4 people doing characters tonight. Can't wait to see all of them. Can't wait to see what everybody else brings. Plus everybody who's in the show is already trying to, you know, bring their best stuff. And just those crowds, the energy in those crowds were always my favorite. It was just automatic synchronicity between everybody. And like a lot of times I think those crowds could pick up you know, a weaker showcase and also really elevate a strong showcase.
Yeah, I think that was I did showcase one time, and I still remember like every beat of it because I've never had an audience like react to me that way ever. And it's just so much, it's all of your friends, they're all excited for you, they're all trying to support you. But it also gave me this false sense of like, wow, I'm gonna be famous. But it's like it was an okay show overall. Thankfully I had Nicole to like bring me back down to earth and was just like, it was good, but those people that's a hot crowd.
Yes, Meredith's fiance Nicole brag. I was gonna say Nia actually did the reverse of what Nicole did for you, where I did it twice. And the second time I did it was right before the pandemic. It was literally that week. It was the Wednesday before the world shut down.
Oh, you got to do yours? That's nice.
I know a lot of people didn't get to do theirs, but I got to do mine. And it went really well, but I like hardly remember it as much as I remember the first one, because it was like insane how hot that crowd was. And, you know, I had never done it before, and yeah, it was just like unreal. And then afterwards we went out to dinner and Nia was literally crying because we had to move to New York because I was about to be cast on SNL. This was the first round. I didn't even make it past the first round, but the crowd was so hot and everybody just reacted so positively. It's just like, yeah, that's a crazy, any show where the audience is hot just feels great, because like I said, it can take good work to great work, and it can take great work to the best improv you've ever seen, or the best stand-up or characters or whatever.
Nia would like it to be known that Sharna approached you after your set, so we were kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I was a big deal for all of 1 minute.
Yeah. That's great though, because Sharna told me I was too monotoned and I didn't change my character for that.
Oh, sorry.
But I felt like I was bringing it all.
Yo, if you felt great afterwards, then who cares? no offense to Sharna, but I don't know if the frickin' train or golden ticket to SNL should have been running through her hands, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe 20 years ago or whatever, but I don't know. Talk about someone whose finger wasn't necessarily on the pulse. Okay, anyways, IO's coming back, so look forward to that. Go ahead, Meredith.
I want to ask you one thing.
Please.
So I'm a big fan of Andy Weir. He wrote The Martian, and I'm not related to him in any way.
Okay, that answered my question.
But he also wrote another book that I just stole the plot from when I was talking about My Planet, which is not cheating to anybody listening. I believe that you can pull any of your knowledge and pretend it's your own when you improvise. But then you were like, oh, this is exactly like, and then you said The Martian, and I was like, oh, fuck, he's read it, and he's going to call me out. But you hadn't, so I was.
No, I hadn't. I had not.
It was it was just like another one of his books.
I haven't even read or seen The Martian, let alone this other book. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Wow. I don't know. Matt Damon on a planet for 2 hours, I guess, didn't appeal to me.
The book is
if I want to see Matt Damon doing weird stuff, I'll just watch a crypto.com commercial.
Honestly, that's fair. But I really like the author, so I'd read the book first, so then I saw the movie.
Yeah.
But if you like reading, I would recommend it. Though his newest book just came out, it actually made Barack Obama's reading list.
Wow.
For 2021. It's called Project Hail Mary.
Michael just read that on our honeymoon.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
is it another space-based book?
Yeah, it is, and
making a movie.
one thing that's really cool about this guy is he consults with like NASA engineers and physicists and people to make sure that it's like as true as could be possible.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, pretty good.
Dang. Okay, well, I guess.
Sorry, I stopped talking about improv to talk about books.
No, please. No. We love everything here. This show should be called "I Love Everything" with Trent Dozier. Except for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers. Go ahead, Val.
I just want to say a couple of lines from the scene that tickled me. Me and Matt Damon have the most similarities.
I didn't mean me and Matt Damon. I meant of the people on the spaceship, me and Matt Damon had the most similarity. You both reacted like, I don't know, do you? I agree. We don't look the same, but.
And then I only have Barry watching my rabbit for 2 weeks. And then Meredith, when you were talking about like how you don't understand why everyone calls your planet Pluto, you're like, that's just a pet peeve of mine. It's a pet peeve when someone
the concept that somebody did figure out what the name of the planet was and then was just like, I don't like that.
To be fair, that is such an American white man thing to
do. Oh, some white guy did that. You know he did. And he's dead now because he was a Nazi from Germany who lived in Argentina, and now he's in space. Yeah, that was a really great choice.
That was so funny. When you said Argentina, I was like, where is she going?
Yes. And from that, I stole from history. See? Nothing I say is ever my own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hey, if you take one thing from this episode of I Love Improv with Trent Dozier, take this quote from Meredith. When you're doing improv, you can steal anything from anybody. Doesn't matter. It's all made up, right?
Yep. Okay, you can't steal jokes.
Right. I agree with that.
I wouldn't do like someone's stand-up stuff.
I would do someone's stand-up if I was forced into doing stand-up in the improv show. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, sure.
Then I would just do.
But don't you have your own like type 5 you could do?
No, I don't. I don't do stand-up. I Love Improv is the name of the show. I love everything except doing stand-up and the Los Angeles Dodgers with Trent Dozier. That's the rebrand. That's the 2022 rebrand. Okay, we're approaching the top of the hour here, so we'll wrap it up. We've had a lot of laughs here tonight. And if you enjoyed Meredith, like Val and I certainly did, here are a couple other places you can check her out if you're in the greater Chicago area. Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. at the Annoyance in the show The Fishbowl. She plays with the Annoyance house team Sight Unseen. And I don't know, they're like the Annoyance improv team, or they're an improv team who performs at Annoyance.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the teachers at Annoyance.
Either way, the Fishbowl is a jam. So if you are an upcoming improviser, you can throw your name into the bowl, get to do some improv, and get to watch some really great improv. I love jams. They're the best. Also, if you want to see Meredith, you can see her 8:30 on Fridays at Logan Square Improv, which is just reopening after the latest scourge of Omicron.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Meredith throws another thumb emoji into the.
I didn't touch anything.
She plays with the team Holy Goat there at the Friday show. 8:30 on Fridays. 8:30 on Fridays at LSI, and also at LSI. Meredith is a teacher there. She will be teaching level 2 starting again in April is when she's back in the teaching rotation. So if you can pick her brain as a student, it's something I would suggest. Meredith, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Been trying to get Meredith on the show for a long time, and due to scheduling conflicts, legitimate or fake, we'll never know. We couldn't do it until now, but I think she was absolutely worth the wait. What do you think, Val?
All right.
100%.
100% worth the wait. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Also, as promised, more details regarding the Trident Network 1-year birthday party, March 4th. Be here. Check it out. It'll be a stream sometime starting that day. We haven't locked down. Much like the spaceship Meredith and I were on about an hour ago. Not everything was locked down yet, so we don't know. But once we lock down that, it'll be a stream for 3 or 4 or 5 hours or whatever throughout the day on March 4th, which is a Friday. It's a Friday. It'll be here on Twitch. There will be things like trivia. There will be some videos. Val has talked about a mega pod. Don't know what that's going to be, but if you want to see what it is, tune in on the 4th. Also, just in general, outside of that special Friday stream, the Trident Network in 2022 has gone to a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday streaming schedule. So every Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you can come here and watch whatever's going on the twitch.tv/the Trident Network. I will be back in 2 weeks. Of course, next week you can watch the short form improv show.
No, they're on Tuesdays now, Trent.
Just kidding. Nothing. What's here next week then? Nothing?
Next week is nothing.
Great.
You're
I'll be
correct.
back in 2 weeks. Don't show up next week. I won't be here. I'll be back in 2 weeks.
But your podcast will be out next week.
Yes, the podcast of this, which if you're listening to this on a podcast, you already know. But if you're watching live in the stream and you love the scene and the conversation, come back a week from now. The podcast version of this episode of I Love Improv with Trent Dozier with Meredith Weir featuring Val Agnew will be released. Val, any final thoughts?
Well, since Trent refuses to self-promote about his other podcast, I'm going to. The Tournament Podcast has also made its triumphant return this week with a bracket all about the Winter Olympics, apropos, as it were.
Yes.
And so you should definitely vote in there. Well, you should definitely listen to the podcast, and then you should definitely vote and make all their bracket-y dreams come true.
Yeah. And if you're hearing this on a podcast for the first time, sorry, you missed the tournament. It's over. But something you can look forward to, our next tournament is going to be which on-screen Batman is the best on-screen Batman. So something cool for the fans.
It's Michael Keaton, right?
No.
We're going to find out.
Why are you doing a podcast about it?
Listen, my name's Matt Damon, and my best friend is Ben Affleck, and that's the best Batman. Okay, that's enough of that. Val, thank you, as always, for everything you do. It's 2022, baby. Trent and Val, we're back together.
Woo!
Thank you for everything. And Meredith, thank you so much for being a guest. That was a great scene. I had an absolute blast. And the conversation afterwards was also great until you took us away from improv. Unbelievable. Can't believe you did that. And a final thumbs up emoji from Meredith. Her hands were literally clasped. She did not touch anything. I don't know how that popped up. That's incredible. Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you. Who was the suggestion from? Minivan 04?
04 Minivan.
04
combined-
Minivan.
Which is a cousin of mine. So shout out to
Shout out to
Yeah.
Meredith's family. Everybody make sure you love Meredith and text her and tell her how great she is. That's it for me. That's it for Val. That's it for Meredith. That's it for Improv for now. And remember, I'm begging you to remember, the year might be different, but the motto is the same. I love Improv.